I was looking for something different to do in the classroom, something sort of outside the box. And I contacted my other friend that teaches English here, and I told her, I'm thinking about teaching a novel in physics, to which she responded, what kind of drugs are you on? And I said, no, really, I think it would be great. So I went through and I read the book. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks is a non-fiction science text. It's not written like a textbook. And the author, Rebecca Skloot, does an amazing job of touching on the science behind the cells and also the humanity behind the cells. And she brings up a number of very controversial issues in the book. And so once we'd read the book, I knew that I wanted to carry on and give them something else, some other way to look at it, and that's how the debate happened.
While learning about PBL, I'd always wondered how are we gonna do cross-curriculum with English and math or science? And when we got together and started talking about this upcoming debate project, it was perfect.
After reading the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, it is clear that doctors and researchers who acquire human cell and tissue samples from test subjects should not be required by law to inform their donors of any intent to use or distribute their collected samples.
When I talked to Robin, our principal, about doing PBL in the first place and taking on this project, something, again, very new and outside the box, that I wanted to eventually go cross-curricular with it and ask other teachers to be involved. But once I found out what they were doing in English and he was showing the great debaters, I thought, oh, well, that's perfect. So that gives him the opportunity to use this project and see how it will work, and myself use it at the same time. So the kids were actually working on their initial arguments and opening statements in both classes and getting not only a scientific point of view, but also an English point of view to make sure that everything flowed together.
This whole semester we've been learning rhetoric and arguing and persuasion and all the logical appeals, and my students have just written a research paper where they had to go and find sources and argue for something that they believed in and using evidence. And so it was very easy just to get with her and work out those lesson plans and figuring out what we're going to do and how we're going to approach the project together.
Everything in the book is about controversy. Everything in the book is about looking at things from two different points of view, not just what the scientific meaning is, but also from an emotional standpoint, what happened to the family and the friends and the loved ones of the main character in the book. So a debate seemed like the logical way to go with it.
We read the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, based on an African-American woman who was not given full consent of what the doctors were actually doing to her. Hela cells help scientists discover ways of cloning or manipulating DNA. They try to manipulate this so they can fight cancer with cancer.
Our topic was, do researchers and doctors have the right to take and assert ownership over said samples and cells? And we said yes, they do. But we said with informed consent, they do.
I really just wanted to make sure that I understood what the topic was, informed consent. That is allowing someone and understanding what you are allowing to happen to yourself and to your body. If they gain something off my problems, off my cancer, off anything that was taken from me, how is it right for them to not share that with me, not share with my family, someone that's struggling to make ends meet? It's not.
My position at the beginning of this whole debate was that the doctors don't have ownership over the cells and tissue, but I had to argue the fact that they do. And after doing so much research and learning about many different advances, it persuaded me to go towards that side, and that the fact that we would have so much lost if we hadn't done that research.
Ms. Smith gave us a whole list of topics that could come up in the debate. So, I only spoke on the Human Genome Project, stem cell research, and HPV, but there were all sorts of other topics that we had to research. I didn't understand the Human Genome Project fully. I thought it was more about tracing like the origins of humans more than cataloging the genes in the body. So just by having to research it, it kind of opens your eyes to more aspects of the topic.
It worked a whole lot easier with that understanding of English principles, really giving us a deeper basis on the physics and the science that we were learning.
And it made it a lot easier to just concentrate on the research part while we were in physics class, and then work on the writing and word choice and stuff in English versus trying to do it all at once.
Physics brings back like the knowledge of it, and English is more about structure. So physics brought us the knowledge of what we were supposed to write about, and English helped us put it in the correct place about how we should take our stance and what order we should take the stance from.
Instead of sitting in the classroom and just reading or just talking about it, we get to actually personally be hands-on and do this together.
And everything. Honestly, it was honestly fun to be able to do it.
A lot of the juniors are, they're about to be voters, and they've finally seen, like, when you are dealing with real life, social, contemporary issues, and you have a stance, you are obligated to back that up with some sort of proof. You can't just make claims without any evidence or backing things up. And so when they're out there voting here in the near future, in the next election, they know how to research issues they're passionate about and fight for what they believe in.
Of the University of California.
And to be informed to what is happening to our body.
One of our best friends was one of the girls we were debating against, and beforehand we even told each other, we love you to death, and she was even like, we love you, but we really want to win this debate.
Might get a little feisty.
By the end of all my research, I figured out that I like to speak, and I wanted to become a lawyer to help protect certain rights of people.
And once the kids here lighten their homework load, they'll be like, yeah, we're doing project-based learning, less homework.
It answered the whole question, the age-old question of where am I ever going to use this? So reading the book and really seeing from a medical standpoint what happens, I think broadened their horizons and opened their minds to how they really do use science every day. And then having to write about it and carrying that over into English showed them that how you express yourself is important. So I really do think that it was relevant to them in real life, not even necessarily in school life.